Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. Today I'm going to provide a rules overview and review of Forbidden Bridge. It's ages 7 and up, 2 to 4 players, and it takes 20 minutes. Let me show you how to play. The goal of the game is to be the first player to return 2 jewels, one in your backpack and one in your canoe, to the start-finish space. For game setup, the first time is a little bit of a thing to set it up. It isn't too bad to set up the 2 sides of the board, but setting up the bridge, you have to look through the rule book to make sure you're doing it correctly. You set it up so it's suspended on either side of the 2 cliffs. And then typically you have the youngest player go first, and you roll both of the dice to go. There is an action dice and there's a number dice. You don't have to worry about the action dice until somebody gets up on the bridge or until somebody gets jewels. So we're not going to worry about that just yet. We'll say red gets to go first, and they move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get to, once you've gone all the way across, you get to ditch your boat then on the beach, and then you start moving up a cliff on the side over here. There's a couple spots there. Green's turn. We have a 2-player game here. There are up to 4 people you can be. So 1, 2, 3. It's Red's turn, and he got 2. And once you get up here, we'll say that he got 4. 3, 4. You start getting to navigate this bridge, and it gets about as tricky as it looks. There's little holes on the bottom of your adventure, and there are little spots on each spot along the bridge for you to kind of suspend them, especially on the sides where it's a little more precarious, so that they're hanging on. Now the actions start to mean something. So when it's Green's turn, we'll say that he rolled a 6 and he rolled the blue icon, which is the idol. So for this, you must push down the idol's head before you move your explorer. So he's going to go ahead and do that. This doesn't take any batteries. You just push down the idol's head and it shakes around the bridge. He didn't fall off. Lucky him. And this guy comes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and is on the end. Now it's Red's turn again. One of the other actions that can happen is if he rolls the dice, we'll say he got a 5, and this green side came up. Explorer. If you rolled this icon, you may choose to move another explorer's token to a more dangerous part of their plank on the bridge, though you may not hang their token off the bridge. It must be firmly on the plank space. So you can do this at any point during the turn. So they're clearly going to move him off of here and have him on here. And yeah, sometimes they're kind of leaning on another space. And that's just part of it. And so then he goes ahead, tries to keep him on here. There we go. Okay. And moves him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you keep on doing this. If the other person rolls a 2 and rolls an idol, he has to do the idol first. And he stayed on because it's hard to even have him not be hanging on right there. So he goes 2 spots and is here. And they take turns doing this until somebody gets over here. Once you get over here, then you don't need an exact roll. You get to have a jewel. The color of jewel does not matter unless you're a child, and then it probably matters a lot. And you get to put it, there's a special spot for it in your backpack. And you can have up to 2 players here at the same time. If you're playing with more players, then only they have to just wait if there's 2 players here for them to be out of their way. So now, once somebody has a jewel, the third action starts to take place. So let's say Green isn't on the platform yet. He's still working his way over there, and Red goes, has his turn, and is able to, his turn is moving the other guy to a more precarious spot and moving forward 3. So he goes 1, 2, 3, and he's right here. If on Green's turn, he rolls the jewel, we'll say he rolls the jewel and gets a 5. He gets to go 1, 2, 3. So if he was on the same spot to start out with, he could steal the jewel. Or if he ends up on the same spot as he's moving, you can steal from him. And the rules aren't clear about this. You can decide what you want to do. You either at this point stop your turn, but he's only moved 3 and is here. If you have a jewel, if you don't have a jewel, you have to be moving towards the idol is the rule. If you do have a jewel, we say he still has 2 moves. So he went 1, 2, 3, and then he's moving 1, 2 back away because he got the jewel and scooted away. So jewels allow you to steal. So you keep on going. Now this guy, the other guy has to go, and he gets to move him to a more precarious spot, and he's got to turn around and go back. He's not allowed to chase him down to get the jewel back. He goes 1, 2, 3, and gets a new jewel since his was stolen, and gets to move him to a more precarious spot and hope that he falls in. So you keep on doing this. If he was able to make it back down, you can place your jewel in your canoe, and it is safe there. There's no stealing allowed from canoes. And then he'd go back up and try to get another jewel. If he falls down from here, he's here, it's precarious, and then on the next turn, the idol goes, and oh, he fell down. Oh, he fell down too. Everyone fell down. What you do is you move your person to the nearest land side. They don't just end up in the water. You leave the jewels where they are. And on the next turn, it takes a roll. If you roll a 4, 1 movement is to pick it up. Or here, he was the one that was falling down. So next roll moves him up. And then he can move and collect up to 1 jewel. And then he can move through the jungle to try to put it into his canoe. So it's not necessarily over for you. If you fall down, you can pick up jewels from down below as well. So just keep on going until somebody has a jewel in their boat and a jewel in their backpack. They get back into their boat and race back to be first at the start finish, and then whoever's done that first is the winner. So that's how to play Forbidden Bridge. The target demographic for this game is families who are looking for an old school game to bring to the table and don't mind a few fights and tears along the way because, my goodness, this is intense at times. The rule complexity is very low. It's a little more to assemble the thing and have everything put together the first time, but it's not too bad. The kids, when we did that, the kids were so excited about helping us. There were a lot of really fun little pieces to play with as you do so. So rules easy, first time assembly, a little bit more of a thing to go through. How competitive is this game? So competitive, and it's so mean. You are doing things, mean things to each other all the time. You are stealing. You are supposed to place people on the side of the bridge, and so they're more likely to fall off. It is just it feels like the 80s has come back in board game form, and so is very novel. There aren't a lot of games out there that are quite like this anymore. So it's just on that note, the replay value is either very low if you play this and your kids are like upset and it's just not worth it because things get stolen from them and people are doing mean things to them, or it's very high because it's such a cool concept and there aren't a lot of games like this out there. This is kind of an ideal playdate game for kids. If there are 2 kids that are kind of on the same level, you play with it, steal from each other, and get to push down the idle button. Man, do kids lose their minds over that. So there's a bunch of like really cool factor. So it seems like it would do better as a playdate with siblings together. It seems like it gets a little bit more in your face. They're going to be fights. So whatever your tolerance is for that, kids love it. My kids beg to get this out whenever they see it, and it's so exciting to set it up and play around with it. So sometimes you play with it as a game, and sometimes you just play around with it, but it's very popular regardless. Similar games, if you like this game, the next natural progression is Fireball Island. Target knows this. It's right by Fireball Island in the game aisle. It has a very similar feel, but just a little more nuanced gameplay, but there's a boulder that can come down and come after you as you're racing to collect different jewels. So that's very cool. Even for adults, adults go nuts over Fireball Island, but perfect for kids too. And then if you're looking for this kind of exciting gameplay, but perhaps a little more harmony with your family as you play, Jumanji Deluxe is super fun and it's cooperative. You're on the same team. And if you get the deluxe version, you push the center of the board and the board comes alive and you have different clues and things you're doing. It's very active. You're getting up from your seat. We played it once and we had to drag a kid across the floor to save him from the quicksand because that was one of the things we were supposed to do. So it's very fun. It's fun for like a high energy game night, but this Forbidden Bridge is a hoot. Just know what you're getting in for, but it's a lot of fun. So check it out. Thanks and see you next time from Game Like a Mother.